Warning. Elements of real-world religion are used in this podcast to serve the purposes of a work of fiction. They are to drive the drama forward and are not intended to be taken as a statement of opinion by the players. Thank you for listening. A plume of dust rises over the square of Redstone, a choking cloud kicked up by the horse hooves of those you know to be these assholes from the Irrenite order. Fuckers.
Fuck them. Don't fuck them.
Don't fuck them.
The assholeites. I mean, Irrenites.
You have to control your natural instinct.
Well, they're not paying.
Bodies litter the street, not just that of the late Martin Hoagland and those who would see him freed, but also a number of innocent townsfolk laid low by the spiteful bullets fired by cowardly men. The sheriff is, quite impotently, trying to quell the panic as the people react with shrieks and sobs, rushing off in different directions or tending those who have been injured. Doc Potter, whose face is pale aside from the deep purple of the bags under his eyes from not sleeping for the past 2 days. You guys have kept him busy. Blinks away his exhaustion of the last several nights and rushes to the scene with his surgeon's bag in hand. As the sign of the cup and barley sways gently in the spring air, it speckles the ground with bright red blood, drippings from the arterial spray from when Doc's bullet hit its mark. Each of you bore witness to what happened next, as the man's skin seemed to knit together before your eyes. And perhaps not all of you noticed that when the shooting started, Jedediah had drawn iron at Levi Williams' back.
Mm-hmm.
And we begin from there.
Okay, so are we done cutting down the insurgents here and...
This is
pieces.
The immediate aftermath. I mean, immediate. There are still horses in visual range. The guy that got shot a few times is more than 600 feet away from you, but other than that, no. Everybody, it's still exactly how we ended before.
So there's still some cultists that are...
Yeah, we're not in combat rounds, but I want some narration for what's going down in the aftermath here.
Cool. I mean, as I mentioned before, Levi is just working his way through them and trying to deal non-fatal blows, but he's using a saber, so, you know...
Mostly pommel strikes and stuff.
Yeah, but if somebody's in front of him and he has to do a slash or something, then so be it.
Okay.
He's trying not to kill though, mostly because he knows how it makes him feel.
What is everyone else up to at this time?
Jed will be making his way to the gallows for cover, and probably engaging in a gunfight with some of these cultists, assuming they're still armed with guns. I believe they were, right?
They are, in fact, armed with guns. It seems like most of them are making a break for it, but, let's see, where's the tune I want? If you're getting engaged in a gunfight, I mean...
There's one more thing, too, when the coast is clear for me.
Okay. It's not clear for you yet, but there's some shit going down. What are you two up to?
Temperance is making her way through the crowd, doing her best to dispatch any cultists, but she is looking for and calling out for Gideon.
Okay.
If there are any cultists actually dead near me, I'm gonna kind of kick them a little bit and just sort of see if I recognize any insignias or anything that reminds me of my own past or anything like that.
That sounds like a history check if ever I heard one. I really like making people roll history, I've determined.
Yeah.
Going back and looking at the podcast, I make you fuckers roll it all the time.
Yeah, it's basically what we use for remembering
That's
things.
going to be an 11. 12, I'm sorry.
Maybe vaguely. Could be one of those faces.
We can turn it down a smidge.
You got... There we
That's
go.
good.
Right there, yep.
Yeah.
Alright. The cultists at this point, they're not panicked, but they are fleeing. Those who you're able to catch up to, you can dispatch quickly as they are not actively fighting you.
Alright.
There is, before you have a chance to sort of rout them, one who manages to put together a Molotov cocktail and light it and fling it directly into one of the saloons that you had previously been in. The Shines Fine.
Oh, okay.
The Shines Fine is less fine as it is engulfed with flame. And the flames begin to spread towards the distilling area behind the Shines Fine.
That makes it a bomb.
Yeah. So that is what's currently going on around you. And at this point, I'd like to call for a one-round skill challenge, because you know what the stakes are for the Shines Fine. And Doc, at this time... Killian, you're not here. I get to play your character for you. Doc actually, I believe, has his own horse. So Doc's gonna mount up and try to ride after them.
Okay.
He's I think he's trained in survival. If nothing else, he knows how to find tracks.
Okay. Yeah, either has survival or nature. We used that last time. What can I do?
Quick question. So Gideon was on the water tower last time.
He slid down to the ground right at the end of last session. He actually came down from the tower.
Right, but where is the water tower in relation to the Shine Spine?
About 200 yards away.
Okay. So not in a...
It's not like it's going to go up in fireworks and kill Gideon from where he's at, no.
No, that's not what I'm asking.
Oh, okay.
She wants to throw Gideon into the fire.
Yeah.
Can you blame her?
Fire hates children.
Oh no, wait, it's the other way around.
Okay.
I'm sorry, do you have more to that question? I'm not sure if I gave you what you needed.
Nope, that's exactly what I needed to know.
Okay, cool. Who's ready with the skill roll?
How far is the gallows away from the Shine Spine?
About 150 feet.
It's a long way.
Yeah. We're not in, like...
Football.
We're not in, like, 30-foot movement zone here. This is
Right.
a skill challenge. Go full narration.
Okay.
This is probably going to occupy several minutes.
Okay.
That's cool. That's all I wanted.
Then I'm not ready yet. Somebody else go.
Oh, I thought we were going around the table. I'll go.
Yeah, start.
I can. So you wanted to be skill challenge. I wanted to start going for wounded and helping them out.
Okay.
At least getting them out of the range. I might be using lay on hands for that,
Okay.
but that's not a skill check.
You have, what, 10 points of lay on hands?
I do now, yeah.
If you spend half of it, I'll give you advantage of the skill roll. That is, by the way, a thing that I will offer up if you ever want to pitch spending like spell slots or other consumable powers. Let me know and I'll probably give you advantage for it, or give you a bonus or something. I'll lower the DC even.
All right, that sounds good. So I'll do, I guess, medicine to help
Sounds good
people
to
out.
me. Yeah, that makes sense.
Or I can use sleight of hand. I have that.
Medicine would be far more.
Yeah. I can steal people.
Steal their souls.
All right, so that'll be 13.
13. Okay. So Levi is rushing around trying to provide medical aid to the people who've been grievously injured in this encounter. The Molotov spreads to the interior of the Shine Spine at this time. You can start to hear shattering glass and panicked sounds from inside the saloon. Reminding that this was at sunset. It's full of people in there. Who's next?
Ooh, I'll go next.
Okay.
So, now that I know that it's like full of people, there's people inside screaming. I remember, is this where we stayed? Is this where I had a room that night?
That's where you met Vander Fowler.
There is a balcony that I was hanging out watching the train come in, right?
Yep.
Alright, so for the purposes of my skill check, like I'm imagining that the lower floor of this building is starting to catch fire, and there's no way like out or in from the outside easily, so I'm going to use athletics to try and jump up and grab the lip of the balcony and pull myself over so I can get in on the second floor.
Alright. Let's see that roll.
Not my specialty, it's a natural 2. Nope.
Oh.
Yeah.
You actually make the jump, and your hands get onto the balcony, but because of the fire weakening the wood structure, the balcony actually starts to tear away from the building.
So I
and you
have
start
to
sliding down onto the sand, and a big plank of wood with some nails and stuff lands right on your chest.
Ooh.
Ooh.
And you're going to lose 1 hit die.
Ooh, okay.
Ouch.
That's a big, that's half. I think.
Yeah.
Well, I saw what Jed was trying to do, and I think my ladylike acrobatics can get me up there.
It could, especially now that there's no balcony in your way.
Yeah.
And you can use my corpse as a vaulting horse.
Yes. And I do. That is a 17.
Oh my god! Yeah. Temperance, with practiced precision, leaps over you. And now that there is no, like, overhang, she's
good at
able to
getting
leap
my legs
directly into the building. Jesus. And she's able to get into the building and start, like, shepherding people upstairs to get out of here. Of course, the heat's rising. It's a damn nightmare in there, and it's total chaos. Gideon, what are you doing?
So, I think Gideon's going to be a little kind of oblivious to that. He's sort of focused on what's immediately in front of him. And what I'm thinking of is he's going to watch the estimable Doc Potter try to help people. And if he sees an opportunity, he will help Doc Potter help people. Because he's all interested in the surgery kind of crap now.
I want a medicine check with advantage, please.
That's going to be a 17.
That's huge. Yeah, you actually are incredibly valuable to Doc Potter for a couple different reasons. Doc Potter is a competent doctor. He's a goofball and kind of a weirdo, but he actually knows what he's doing. And you pick up quite a lot from how he actually performs his technique.
Cool.
In addition to that, he is in dire need of an assistant for a lot of reasons. There's more than one patient. It's total chaos. It's not a sterile environment. And, like, he's exhausted. He hasn't slept in 2 days because every time he tries to go to bed, somebody bangs on the door with a gunshot wound.
Or being pregnant.
Or being pregnant that one time. So
Giving birth to a gunshot wound.
you.
Now squeeze. Bang!
Ouch! But it is actually incredibly helpful to him because he's also, like, not focused and not 100% in it, and his brain is just exhausted. And so having an extra set of hands to do things like apply pressure or tie bandages is something that's very valuable to him. It's also going to be very valuable to you. You're not going to get, like, training in the skill for this, but I do think you should have something for it. I want to give you a one-time use of, like, not inspiration, basically the same idea. They can only be used for a medicine check or other attempts to heal someone.
Okay, I can do that.
I'm not going to go the healing potion route. I want this to be based on actually practicing medicine.
Yep, that's cool.
Alright, with the two of you, even though you're laying in the dirt right now, you're able to start shepherding people out of the Shine's Find. But the fire is beginning to spread, and now the roof is just covered in flames. Killian shows up with a box of Miller Lite.
It was the best day ever.
The aftermath of this scenario is that you're starting to shepherd people out of the Shine's Find and get them out of the building. Does anybody have a last-minute fevered pitch with a skill check to try and prevent the distillery from going up?
I'm inside.
That's not a great place to be.
No.
Are there people with water in the town that are currently working at
They've
it?
got a bucket brigade, but they're like a couple 100 feet away as this fire is spreading all over the place.
Why isn't anybody a first level cleric?
Well,
Create water.
I trust
That's a
Tempered's
purpose.
I think Tempered's can take care of herself for the time being. So I will. I suppose I will just try to motivate them to move faster
Okay.
by using, I suppose, persuasion.
Alright, well, give me a roll. We'll see if it's humongous, it'll impact things.
Okay.
DC's gonna be pretty high on this.
Yeah, I figure it's something though, and I have a good persuasion. So 9.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
They are hustling as fast as they can hustle, carrying big
there's
buckets
one-
of water.
If there's one thing you're going to save in this town, it had best be your booze.
And that's when you find
So
out
what-
that it is not.
It is actually their asses.
Yes, their asses are more important than their booze.
Of all the love things you have in this town.
Although Levi would probably be second most interested in their asses.
You may recall when you were at the Shine's Fine. There was a hulking bruiser of a man who was working in the distillery.
Yes.
Big white wife beater and
Yeah.
sort of looked like maybe a bit of a slow man. And he is no more as the flames descend into the distillery and one of the copper stills erupts into a fireball of high-proof alcohol, knocking him off of his feet. His feet separate from his body. You don't see the rest of him as he gets
Lord.
scattered into the ashes and remnants
A bruise.
of the Shine's Fine.
You alright?
Due to your efforts, about half of the people inside managed to actually get to the second floor, leap out through the balcony, collapse down, and get onto the street as the building is burning around them. These people are going to need Doc Potter for a while. Doc Potter needs to sleep before he can do much of anything for these people, though.
Rip.
Ripped in pieces.
I get out, right?
Yes, you do. No, you're killed, actually.
Here, roll my dice. Reroll.
Yeah, you
Didn't
want
like this
to
bitch
play your handbook
anyways.
real quick?
Send in the other temperance.
You didn't catch them. You got their stuffed doubles.
Unless you felt like I covered it with my 5 hit point pool already, I do want to keep patching people up.
I would say story-wise, you already spent a resource, so you're continuing to patch them.
Yeah, being discreet with my mystic powers as I can be.
Yes. Well, right now there's also a child who's performing, like, actual help in surgery. So you're the least weird thing going on right now.
No, I think you actually going dink, it's
I'm
probably
sure-
a little weirder.
I'm sure Doc Potter has some snide remark about, like, you got little hands, you can get into those organs better than I can.
Yes.
Is this important?
It's now canon, yep.
Extra parts.
This is just like that board game I played.
3 men, 4 pancreases.
So-
That's not good.
So by now the explosion I would have noticed.
Yeah.
So I think I would have missed like the fire, but now that there was an explosion and now I am like torn. Is the fire spreading?
It's,
Torn
um,
between which way to go now. And
it sort of
I'm
looks like it's
indecisive
about
as a
to.
child.
It looks like it might spread, but the wind's not real strong today, so it's not blowing the flames. And about this time is when the bucket brigade shows up, and they're sort of like, turn their heads back from the flame. And then they come over and start like drenching buildings around the distillery, just like get the wood wet so it doesn't catch, that sort of thing. Once they've gotten the wood wet, they start making a trip for the second set of buckets to start putting out the Shine's Fine, but the Shine's Fine's a loss. They know they can't save the building. The easiest thing they can do at this point is make it a controlled burn so there's less to clean up afterwards.
So I can imagine Gideon kind of stopping what he's sort of in the middle of and sort of looking at that fire and kind of saying out loud, I could have done something about that, and maybe I should have. And then maybe Doc Potter kind of reining him back into like, put your finger there.
He's trying to bow.
Yeah.
Hands you a kidney. Hold this.
Come here, kid, hold this. You're doing something for somebody more valuable.
Technically could
Living
have helped.
people, actually, is a thing that you're doing.
Right.
Jed is crawling out of the smoldering wreckage because when he fell off the balcony, what chunk of the balcony fell on top of him actually shielded him from the explosion. So now he's just trying to like crawl out of the wreckage.
Yeah.
I
It
have a
requires
great-
a little
I have a
doing.
great visual of a ragged Jed climbing out, and it's like smoke cloud.
Yeah.
Comes up an actual smoke cloud.
I'm looking at my fine suit splattered with blood.
Sorry
Temperance gets up and
about the blood.
dusts herself off. I feel like she
You
sort
say
of
that.
did the action hero-y thing where she got like the last person she could have the Shine's Fine and did the jump off of the second story as it was exploding behind her.
She wasn't planning on doing the jump. The explosion helped her get out
Yeah.
at that point.
Is Temperance like full chimney sweep right now?
Yeah, pretty much. Hair's all like messed up and dirty and like she's like, now y'all
Terrible Cockney accent.
don't look at me. Don't look at me. My hair's not right.
Levi being a gentleman averts his eyes.
Gideon, Temperance, and Doc should all give me perception checks.
Oh, I crit.
I have 14.
5.
Give me a sleight of hand check.
Oh no, Ryan's robbing us.
Yep.
God damn it.
20.
Okay, that's pretty fucking good. You were the only one who sees that at the start of this chaos, that Jedediah had the gun pointed at Levi's back.
It wasn't like I
Just
had like a hip shot, just in case.
I look at you and I look at Levi and I give you a little nod.
I just tip my hat and wipe soot and grossness off of my face.
These guys ride off in the distance. You can still sort of hear the hoof pounding. That's sort of like a low rumble of thunder kind of sound. And the sun is starting to go down at this point. The days are getting longer because it's starting to become late spring, and they're rapidly trying to extinguish the Shine's Fine. And there's enough high-proof liquor in there that it burns bright and hot, but extinguishes real fast. It's just consumes dry wood, and then it's done. They could probably use it as a campfire for a couple of days, given how much heat is there. But in terms of like open flame being blown all over the place, pretty limited at this point.
The highest proof whiskey burns quickest.
That's right.
A town weeps.
That's what I've heard him say.
Burning the distillery at both ends.
That's
The townsfolk are all holding hands, singing.
all of these
Hands
things
across
are done.
Redstone. Jed wants to look for a horse.
Okay.
Well, particularly his horse. He's got all his things.
Well, as you may recall, you left his horse back in Hope's Landing.
Oh, that's right.
You
Well,
took a train to get here.
my rent-a-wreck then that I've been riding.
Yes, that was actually Vander Fowler's.
Well, then I'm gonna go find Vander Fowler's horse.
All right.
He's probably not using it.
After some effort, you find that Vander Fowler is not to be found.
Wasn't looking for him. Can we leave with his horse?
That horse.
That
Yes.
Vander fucker.
He apparently rode his horse out of town. Go figure.
But if you guys do want to reach Levi, he's probably busy with people
Yeah.
right now. And he's also talking to those who are losing hope and trying to restore some sort of morale. Did we get that? Did we get the creeks?
We got the creeks.
All right.
And the sweeps and the bleeps.
Very important.
All right, then I'm gonna go find the sheriff. The sheriff's still alive, right?
The sheriff's still alive. Yeah, he's trying to calm people down, and they're basically ignoring him because he's an idiot.
So I'm dusting the soot and embers off my coat
Yeah.
and probably reloading a revolver. And I sheriff, you know,
Oh, it's you.
I need a horse.
I bet you do. Stables is that way.
Which one am I taking?
Which one are you buying?
You want me to bring these men to justice, or you want to try and put out these fires by yourself?
He looks at you. He says, "They ain't my horses to give you.
Commandeer them in the name of the law. See
I
it
ain't-
done.
I ain't deputizing you.
You don't have to. Take one of them horses, give it to me.
I will not take that man's horses. That is his livelihood."
I'll return it to him, or I'll pay him what it's worth. But right now, we need to get on the trail before it gets cold.
I just saw more than a dozen men open fire in town square. I don't have a lot of high hopes about you bringing back a horse pristine condition.
All right. Have it your way then.
He continues to try and console people. He's not very good at anything that has to do with his job. He's
Yep.
actually pretty damn bad at it. But
No, you can add horse thief to your repertoire.
Planning on it.
No.
Yeah.
just reach for the stars. All right. What's the plan? What's the immediate aftermath? For time frame reference, by the way, it's shortly after sunset. You still got that like purpley pinkish glow.
You probably see me like on my horse, kind of coming back into town, just doing a slow like trot, looking around, seeing if I can find you guys first off, and I don't know, see if there's anything I can help out with second off. But I kind of want to keep an eye out just to make sure if any of these lowlifes stay behind or anything. I had a good vantage point from horseback to do something about it.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a couple places around town that have like second floor balconies and stuff like that. I forget what I wrote down for the name of the other saloon that you guys had been to. I forget what the other one is called. Either way, that one also has a balcony and it's a good vantage point. Or at least the best you're going to get outside of like climbing up to the water tower where Gideon was, but there's not really a hell of a lot of cover up there either. It's just up and out.
If enough people are cared for, Levi will try to rejoin his companions.
You basically have done all that you can for them at this point, aside from like literally being a bedside doctor for the next week.
Okay.
The immediate surgery type stuff, stopping bleeding, stitching wounds, pulling bullets, that's done. But these people are going to need a doctor full time for the next several weeks if they are going to survive at all. And you gather that probably several of them will die of fever before.
Okay. Does it look like my companions here are doing their own thing for now?
It definitely looks like Jedediah and Temperance and Doc are doing their own thing. Gideon's been helping Doc Potter.
Okay. Since everyone's busy, I will try some of my new powers. I will go to a private area and do a detect poison and disease ritual to make sure no one is infected or poisoned from the recent attack.
What's the range on that spell?
Anything within... It's going to last for 10 minutes.
Okay.
And basically any poison or disease or the presence thereof, I will detect within 30 feet of me.
Okay. Right away you get poison from someone nearby. Does it give you the intensity or severity of the poison?
I'm looking that up now.
Come on,
So-
Schwartz!
For the duration, I can sense the presence and locations of poisons, poisonous creatures, and diseases within 30 feet of me. I can also identify what kind of poison, poisonous creature, or disease in each case.
Alcohol is what you get.
Okay.
Alcohol poisoning. That's all coming from Jen. Alcohol bean poisoning.
Well, alcohol is a poison, and it detects poisons, so...
Who is alcohol poison?
Just someone who is full of alcohol. In this case, specifically, it's somebody in one of the homes nearby is presumably very drunk.
Like to the point of dying?
No, well, you don't get that, actually, from you. You get the type of poison.
Yeah.
So you get somebody contains alcohol.
Okay, I drink them.
Shit.
Okay.
You're drunk!
No, just surveying, observing the aftermath of all this.
It's a very disorienting experience because it's something extrasensory. And so as you are perceiving this, it is actively distracting to you until you become used to it.
I'll probably be mumbling, someone's had a bit too much. And that one too. Not so much with you.
As you're sort of patrolling the streets, as it were, you find that it becomes difficult at times to like remember what impulses you send to your hands and feet to move your body, or like your vision swims because you're too busy focusing on other things and things like that. At times you forget the smell of burnt wood in the air until you think about smelling things again.
Yep.
Like there's not enough room in your brain for all of these sensations at the same time.
As with most things, this is just very fascinating.
Probably a bit like doing drugs. To be quite
I'm
honest.
detecting so much venom, man.
Basically, yes.
All right.
But that is precisely what that is. What is the plan, gentlefolk?
It's that euphoric state they always tell you about.
I'm going to find a quiet place to sit and watch the world burn. They'll come and find us when they really want us.
Okay.
Till then, they're not even willing to lend me a horse, so...
The general store is on the opposite side of the street. It's got a nice bench out front. Get your feet propped up on the railing.
I'll buy myself a cigar.
They sell you a cigar. Costs you 50 cents. It's a
Okay.
good cigar.
So, yep, Jed's got his feet propped up on the railing in front of the general store, smoking a cigar,
If at any
waiting to be
point,
employed.
if at any point in time I notice this, I'll go join him.
Yeah, this appears to be a relaxing vigil. Don't mind if I do. I also prop up my... I'll put my feet on Paul.
Me too!
Gideon, you just became a footstool. You're the right height and
No, he
everything.
explicitly said me personally. Didn't say anything about my
Levi
alter
puts his
ego.
feet on Paul.
It's because of your reaction. Like, alright, I'm just going to lean into this.
Where are you gonna end up in this?
I'm gonna be looking for you.
Okay.
And if Doc Potter points me your way, I'm gonna
Well,
start.
What I was gonna say is at some point I will be looking for you, and I'll come up and say, "Oh, Miss Temperance, Doc Potter said he don't need me anymore, and I'm tired," and I'll just pass right out.
Aw.
And it's just blood and stuff all up my arms and like in my front of my shirt and everything from helping all day. I'm just a filthy, tired wreck of a 10-year-old kid.
I'm gonna pick you up or do my best thereof and bring you over to Jedediah and be like, "This one's yours." After he's passed out.
When you approach Temperance, Levi will pull out a little suitcase. It's suitcase may be the wrong words. Kind of like a little pack, and he pulled it out. And there's a rag. There are several rags as well as some vials of makeup and whatnot. It's like, yeah, Temperance, for your face.
You with the face.
Are you suggesting that I need to paint myself, Mr. Williams?
No, just to wipe away the charcoal, Miss Temperance.
It's a handkerchief.
Yeah.
I take it and I start cleaning up Gideon's hands.
Oh, that's a ruined attitude.
And I suppose if you do need any extra cosmetics, you may come to me. Stuff comes in handy.
Handy when, Mr. Williams? I'm a bit preoccupied.
I was merely making a general statement. But pay no attention to me. I understand you've all gone through a very tough time.
Now, Mr. Williams, I'm not the one walking around in a retailered Confederate suit now, am I?
Well, I suppose it looks a bit stained, but fashionable all the same. It was not a bother to me before. Are any of you hurt?
Yeah, I got a little tussled up in that fire, but nothing a good night's sleep won't fix while that tin horn of a sheriff
Let me
finds
see.
balls.
May I see it, Jedediah?
You may not.
You don't want it healed then, do you?
No, it's settling quite well, Mr. Williams. I'm enjoying it.
He actually laughs. How fascinating.
Well, this has been an interesting day.
Shopkeeper comes out. He's got another one of the cigars. Comes and sits out there.
What's your name, shopkeep?
Wilhelm!
Well, Bill, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Likewise.
Jedediah Blackburn, Doc, Mr. Williams.
Hello.
Temperance.
Dark blood.
The boy, Sleeping's Gideon.
It's been a very busy day.
Yep. That hanging, that was surely something. What there was of it.
At least you saw justice.
Who sets bounties on criminals around these parts? Sheriff of yours?
Sheriff at times, deputy. Rich folk.
Hmm. You're a businessman, landowner. You must have some say.
Don't make much out here.
Well, for the time being, you have some qualified and skilled bounty hunters in town. Be willing to clean up this mess, but your sheriff appears to be a bit of a coward and tight with the purse strings. So, if you have any sways whatsoever and you want to see justice done on the people that burned down your bar over there, I'll be on your porch for a spell and then probably be on my way in the next day or two.
Gives you a nod. He says, they don't care for us much out here.
Who's this talking?
So, the owner of the general store.
Okay, we haven't met him before, have we?
No, he's just some guy.
All right.
He's like a tall, thin guy with a white, pointed
Okay.
beard and full mustache.
He sounds in German.
He sounds German, yeah. Well, his name's Wilhelm, so
Yeah.
yeah.
I called him Bill.
Dead giveaway.
Yep. But he's cool with that.
Yeah.
He's been in America for a while. He knows what's up.
So while they're talking, Levi will just get up, tip his hat. Thank you for the company, everyone. Seek me out. I imagine I'm rather hard to miss if you need me. I'm gonna go look for that tiefling woman that we saw.
Okay. So you're sitting on the porch of the general store, smoking a stogie as the sun goes down.
Yep.
The shine's fine continues to be extinguished by buckets of water. The bucket brigade eventually catches up to it. Once it's nothing but smoldering coals, they just sort of let it be.
Mm-hmm.
People are exhausted from carrying buckets of heavy water all day. Gideon is...
And they're going to go to the bar to get a drink.
Nope.
No, there's still one more. It's fine. It's good.
The owners of the Shine's Fine are nowhere to be found. You assume that they perished in the encounter. And you also see that Gideon is still passed right the fuck out. Temperance is sort of babysitting. And Levi has wandered away from the porch that you find yourselves seated on as your cigar burns down to the fingers and you have to throw the rest away, toss it into the streets. At this point now it's close to probably 9 or 10 o'clock. Sun's pretty much down at this point. You're getting just a little bit of that like light blue over the horizon, getting long shadows through the streets where you get anything at all.
Well, I suppose since my hotel room burned to the ground, I should find another one.
Things are cramped here in town, given that the half of the places for people out of town to sleep have been burnt to the ground. However, they're also slightly more vacant on account of the fact that at least one of those rooms is being occupied by the people who just fled town. And another one was occupied by an individual you interacted with quite a lot by the name of Chunks Duster, who has apparently also left town.
Oh, we're sleeping chunks. Chunk Duster's
Did he
dead.
actually leave town, or is that
It's
just
not
a
as
rumor?
bad as you think it
The
is.
stagecoach stick.
That is the rumor around town, is that Chunks Duster left town in a bit of a hurry.
Yeah, we heard that.
What a schmuck.
Watch out for snakes.
Watch out for trunks.
Alright, well then I guess I'm renting Chunk Duster's room.
All right, yeah, you sleep in his bed.
Gross.
Huge butt indentation.
Yeah, you lay
Look.
down in it and just roll into the center.
Look, it's not as bad as everyone makes it out to be. You hold your nose, you close your eyes, and you think
Yikes.
of Maui.
And this is someone who's got some familiarity with being in Chunk Duster's bed.
Yes. She's an expert. A sexpert, if you will.
So yeah,
A
I will.
chunkyologist.
How much do I spend for this room?
Let's see. I'm assuming all 5 people need a place to sleep for the night.
Do I find that lady?
Oh, you're looking for the tiefling. That's right. I forgot about that. Sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah,
Give
she's
me a-
single now, so maybe you can just couch surf with her.
They got rid of Streetwise, didn't they?
I'm not that much
Yeah.
of a cad.
Give me a straight charisma skill check. Stat check.
I guess persuasion.
Just charisma.
Plus charisma.
Yeah.
That's 22.
Jesus Christ, really?
Yes. I rolled a 19 plus 3 is 22.
I guess you found her then.
Yep. Where is she?
She is, she's sitting out in front of one of the homes. She is, like, leaning forward into her own lap, and she's got her face in her hands. And she's rubbing her eyes and her temples. And she's obviously spent most of the day weeping, and she's exhausted.
Good evening, miss.
Good for some.
Well, perhaps I can improve it a bit. My name is Levi Williams. I believe we...
I'm not seeking any suitors.
I'm not... Well, that wasn't exactly what I was looking to provide. You see, I do...
I got nothing worth stealing.
Levi looks the way he's dressed. I think I'd make too much noise to be a proper brigand, miss. No, my intention is to comfort you in other ways. I believe that you knew someone who was involved with that group, did you not?
And she is immediately reduced to further tears.
Now please, I do not intend to upset you further. In fact, I want to offer you succor and let you know that I, at least, will track down the ones who pressed your beloved brother, I presume, into the clutches of that group.
There's no justice in the world.
Well, some of us dream of a better world, miss. Some of us put in the work to make it happen.
And she's
I
speaks
see.
between sobs. She says, "There might be a better world, but it's not for him. It's not for me. It's not for us."
What can you tell me,
He
so
threw
that
it away.
I might alleviate it?
He threw it away. And she, like, stomps her feet. She gets up. She starts pacing back and forth. All they wanted was for us to be buried. A Catholic cemetery.
Who wants that?
My mum, rest her soul. Mida.
I want to make sure that I, the player, understood you correctly. So she wants to be buried in the Catholic cemetery?
Her parents are deceased and wants both of them to be buried in the Catholic cemetery.
And this upsets you?
Very much, yes.
Where would you prefer to be buried?
I wish to be buried as they did. But he cannot.
Why can he not?
He's not Catholic, not anymore.
Well, we all serve the Lord in our own ways. Why not seek out a dispensation? An exception, if you will.
He sought out a golden calf.
I don't catch your meaning.
She sighs. And looks down. She says, "Are you not familiar with the story of the golden calf?"
Yes, a bunch of people choosing to worship a false idol. Am I correct in that?
Then I believe you have your answer.
Seeking to worship the material. Although it seemed the group was quite connected spiritually. You're saying that they are, devotees of Mammon, as it were?
He says, "I hope to never know what they're devotees of."
Yes, I am trying to help. They rather jostled me too, in a bit of a way. They have one of my companions acting very erratically. A boy. So young, no older than 12. I am simply here humbly offering my services as a, you don't have knights in this era anymore, do you? A pity. I enjoyed reading about them as a kid. But still, I am here to help, even if my mercenary companions don't feel the same way. I simply want to know what you know. And perhaps I can even speak with someone about this Catholic burial if it means that much to you.
He's made his decision, and you can give me a persuasion check.
16.
Okay. She says, I'll tell you what I know, but I want you to never come back here again.
He nods. If that is your price, then yes.
Well, thank you not to bring up any more painful memories.
Only trying to right wrongs, but go on.
I will not continue the Irish accent because it's a real struggle for me.
No, don't worry about don't worry about it, lad.
All right, so here's the story you get out of her, and she does this in a very, like, laboratory style, like, here are facts, and that's it. I'm the fuck out of here. So it's nothing to do with you.
Sure.
Her brother recently left the Catholic Church because he didn't like, partially didn't like all the things they had to do as Catholics out here. So there's a lot of rigmarole in terms of actively being practicing Catholics. Sometimes it involved traveling to faraway places to go to Mass for certain holidays and, you know, all that sort of stuff. Lots of very mundane, real-world problems with worshiping religions that aren't popular in the region you live in, right? However, he got fed up with all that, and he didn't believe in the message anymore, and he was sort of rebellious to their parents as they were kids, and he eventually decided he needed to seek out an opportunity to better himself. And when he heard about this Irrenite religion, the message spoke to him, and he believed their words of kindness and purity and being closer to the Almighty and being able to physically see representation of the Almighty in the real world outside of all the other major religions of this world not really having that connection. He believed that it was closer to the Almighty he knew, and it spoke to him and he wanted to pursue that further.
Okay.
He was also like a 0th level acolyte. Like, he was not a big deal in the order. He was basically an altar boy in his 30s.
Okay.
Sort of brought around to do like menial chores and like earn his keep by being humbled by having to do chores for the upper echelon priests. And he one day told her that he was packing his bags and leaving, that he wouldn't be rejoining the Catholic Church. He'd be departing to join the Irrenites at the, I'll humble you all, the Tabernacle. Bastards. Tabernacle. Either way, that he'd be leaving for that. And then he left town. And it was less than a day ago this happened. And then he shows up in town again and immediately gets killed by this man, who presumably is a priest of the Irrenite order.
I give her nod of the head and a bow and thank you. Do you know which direction they went into?
It's west.
And what is your name?
Somebody give me an Irish name.
Moira.
Moira.
Mora. Good call. I understand you told me not to come back, but you may rescind that at any time. I'm Levi Williams, and I only want to make things better here. Take care and have a good evening.
She gives you like a half-assed nod of the head. She had a name last session. I forget what it was. We're going to make Moira for now. Her brother's name I remember, which was Virgil.
Virgil.
Virgil O'Malley.
We'll write that down.
I also forgot to use the Irish accent last session because I was too drunk. So he had a southern accent because I autopiloted.
It happens.
Don't sweat it.
That's what booze does to you.
Yeah, it happens.
Mess you up, quite right.
So, before I go to sleep in Chunk Duster's butt groove for the evening.
Oh, and then I'll look for
Stop
lodging in
talking about
the.
it like it's a bad thing.
I'll look for lodging in the remaining tavern. I guess the fancy place.
You're going to have to shack up with somebody because all the rooms are taken.
That's not hard for Levi to do.
Yeah.
There's a sign outside the charred wreckage of the other inn. Coming soon, Chunks Duster's butt groove.
In fact, I mean, hell, if Temperance will have him again, we can shack up again.
So, I have a background feature that might be applicable here.
Okay, lay it on me.
Ear to the ground. You are in frequent contact with people in the segment of society that your chosen quarries move through. These people may be associated with the criminal underworld, the rough and tumble folk of the streets, or members of high society. This connection comes in the form of a contact in any city you visit, a person who provides information about the people, places, or places of the local area. So, specifically what I'm looking for is somebody who knows the local area, meaning like the immediate wilderness and the direction these people rode off in. Or I believe they're one and the same, but you said there was a delay in getting Martin Hoagland hanged because they had to get a priest of his out. Is that the priest that we shot a bunch of times and rode away, or is that
You're
still
not
a
sure
guy? If that guy is still in town, that's the guy I want to find. If not, I will settle for somebody who knows the area and maybe can give me some insight as to where these guys might have gone.
There is a Native American guide. Two Bears is a man who is in town, who is very familiar with the local area. He's like a hunter or trapper. He comes in, sells furs every once in a while. Kind of a man of the land.
And where do I find Two Bears?
Right now, you find Two Bears getting lit downstairs.
Perfect. It's a short walk.
Yeah. Yeah, it's you guys starting to ask, like, all right, where can I find this guy? And they're like...
Mm-hmm. So is he sitting at a table by himself, or...?
Yeah, he's sort of sitting in the corner. There's some live music on this evening. They're trying to, like, perk people up after today's debacle. And he's sort of sitting in the back corner. He's got his feet up on the table, and he's got a glass and a bottle. Pour, drink. Pour, drink. He's the kind of guy who'll probably just sleep where he lands.
All right. Well, I'm gonna walk up to the table and I'll sort of give the bottle and the glass a nod. That type of afternoon.
Many types of afternoon.
Mind if I share a table with you for a moment?
Yes.
Well, that's a shame that we're getting off to this kind of start, but I'll share anyway and sit down. I'll try to make this brief as to leave you back to your privacy and while you're drinking. I'm looking for someone. Think you might know where to find him.
He waits.
You here for the big commotion earlier, burning down the saloon and whatnot? Yeah, well, the desperados that did that, they rode off to the west. Now, I'm not a man of these parts, somewhat of a stranger, but I have a feeling that I will be hired sometime soon to go track these men down and, doing a little poking around, see if I can't find out what lies in that direction they might have used as a holdout.
Says, not much goes that way. Town of Fortune. Small town.
What's Fortune got going for it? Anything these men might be interested in?
Scarcely any food at all. One distillery.
Anything beyond that? Caves, wilderness?
Hills, mountains. So, he starts to think. Starts rubbing his chin. There's tainted lands there. We don't go that way.
Tell me more about these tainted lands.
He looks around a little bit. Stifles like the drunk hiccups.
Mm-hmm.
Looks around. He says, people tend to see... He looks down at his bottle. People tend to see people that they've seen before, but no longer walk above the earth.
They go there to see spirits, ancestors, that sort of thing?
You could say that.
That does strike me as the kind of thing that these gentlemen might be interested in. You know anything about them? What happened today?
No.
Let me give you a bit of gossip then. Bend your ear for a moment. And Jed will launch into the full Monty of the strange things he saw. And as many, white men in the West were, sort of just understand that Native Americans have a different spiritual outlook. So maybe he's just bouncing ideas off or venting, who knows. But he dumps it all out on the table. And, that's how we got to where we are right now. And like I said, I aim to be killing these men sometime soon. And any help you might be able to give me as to their motives or their spiritual methods, maybe that will lend me a hand.
He says, they'll be riding past Sky's Run. Cover up their tracks.
And I take it from what the TM says that's a river.
It's more of a stream.
Is it poison? You meant to mention a taint.
No, it's water.
There could be poison water.
If it's poisoned, it wasn't last time I was there.
Anything else I should be on the lookout for when I head out in that direction?
Probably some guns.
I got plenty of them.
He looks at your waist. Oh, do you?
Well, haven't run out so far. What are you doing here in town?
He says, you hunt men with guns. I hunt beasts with this. And he pulls the bow off his back. He drops the bow on the table.
Oh, hunter. What's the biggest game you hunt?
Moose.
Moose in these parts?
Here and there.
Good eating?
Parts.
Never had on a moose before. Well, tell you what. Pull out the billfold and count out $10 in ones. Leave it on the table. For letting me bend your ear and, you catch some moose next time I see you. I want a taste of that.
Give me a persuasion check with advantage.
Oh, that's good. That is a 18.
Okay. Says, I'll give you one more thing. I have heard about some criminals out around these parts. Fella got caught. Stagecoach out east.
Hmm?
Some local bounty hunter. Like you.
No, not like me. He's an uncouth individual.
That explains the Pinkertons then.
Well, I wish him all the best. Thanks for the heads up, Mr. Two Bears. Don't drink that all in one night. I'm pointing out the bottle at the $10.
$1.
$1 dude. And with that, I will long rest in my bed.
It seems like the consensus is sleep. You rest. Morning arrives.
Okay. Hi, morning.
I'm suspecting Gideon may be the first to get up because he's been sleeping for the longest.
Oh.
So I'm guessing by being first of all, small children like to get up early anyway, but I'm kind of suspecting he's sort of up
Okay.
Weirdos.
before the others.
What I was going to say before you went for your pee break is I was going to try to find Doc Potter and arrange to sleep in his sitting room or something like that with Gideon, because hell, the boy did free work for you.
Okay. Yeah, he basically is like, yeah, whatever, and then goes back to bed. He has no patience for you whatsoever, and he sleeps upstairs, so he doesn't really give a shit. So, you all rest, get your hit dice back, get your points back, do the things you do. Mm-hmm. How do you do the voodoo you do? Get your lay on hands back.
Oh yeah. I'm ready to lay.
Lay on handsy.
Just call me Levi.
No.
I will not.
X-nay.
Negatory. Alright, you wake up, the sun comes up, you are offered breakfast for those of you who slept in a normal sleeping establishment. It's part of the terms of your room.
I will eat breakfast.
You have breakfast. You arise. Vander Fowler's out of town. These guys went west.
What about Lawrence?
Lawrence also appears to be out of town, or if he's in town, you can't find him. You know that the Pinkertons went east and caught up with Chunk's Duster, and at least that's how the story goes. You also know that out east is a farmhouse you burned to the ground that contained a U.S. Marshal.
Dead.
On the west, you've got tracks leading out of town from a bunch of men on horseback departing after the debacle in the city.
I do want to inform at least some of my companions that there's a tabernacle that has been set up to the west not too long ago. I found this information out last night from Moira, the horned woman. She was very forthcoming. The other horned gentleman was named Virgil, and he was in service to those fanatics. If you're interested in pursuing them, we can.
I'm very interested in pursuing them, but I will not be doing so for free.
You can just take all they have, Jedediah.
Plan on doing that anyway.
In addition to some payment.
It is my way of making a living, after all.
I did appreciate our conversation the other night. It's made me think that I'm going to practice something each day. A virtue, if you will.
What's today's virtue?
Forgiveness.
Temperance.
You're not there, but he would have made a great joke if you were.
And who are you forgiving today.
When he comes down, I will do so.
All right then.
So if Gideon gets up first,
Yep.
he's actually going to sneak out without waking anybody up, which is probably just her because I think we're the only ones in.
Yeah. Doc Potter could sleep through a freight train driving through his house at this point.
And I'm actually going to park on the same bench where these guys are smoking cigars and wait for that shopkeep to open the store. And I'm just going to sit there and wait outside.
Okay.
It'd be kind of weird, but that's what I'm going to do.
Dig it. Now, who is it that you're waiting for? Not you.
Me?
Yes,
Gideon.
Gideon. So Gideon, it turns out, is sleeping at Doc Potter's.
Yeah, that's fine.
So if you're out in the street farting around, you'll see Gideon actually come out of the doctor's office and he starts traveling up towards the general store.
And well, I'll finish my breakfast and say to Jedediah, tip my hat, and there he is.
What is Doc up to during all this?
I'm going to go see Doc Potter when he's awake.
Poor bastard. He's so busy. It's going to be a little while before Temperance and Doc Potter wake up. So Doc, you'll be waiting for a little while. Gideon heads over to the general store, and the two of you finish your breakfast just as Gideon is going up the street towards the shop.
Mm-hmm.
Take the reins, whoever's taking the reins.
I'll go towards the general store.
All right. Gideon, you start to see Levi coming up the street at you.
I avoid eye contact.
All right.
If no eyes, I avoid all contact.
I take out my eyes. Just to make you feel more comfortable.
Now he's just laughing.
No,
Woof.
out by yourself with Gideon.
Well, I just need to get some new... My shirt and my coat were kind of ruined, and you'd see they're just still kind of... It's not fresh, but it's like pink stained and
Show
very
you my
nasty.
sleeve. I know the feeling.
Oh, well, that was the worst. That was the worst I ever seen.
Well, we're past it. That's what matters.
Yeah.
Listen, Gideon, I wanted to say that I forgive you.
Why do you forgive me? I don't get you.
Well, because I know that you have been a bit suspicious of me. You have been saying words to others that would make me seem less trustworthy in the eyes of our companions, and I understand you can't help it.
Can I ask you a question, Mr. Williams?
But I forgive you, yes.
What are you?
I'm a man from down south with a very storied past. Once we trust each other, Gideon, I think I would...
No. Just, what are you? Because you ain't right, and I ain't right, and we ain't right. What are you?
I will say, Gideon, that you are correct in that regard, and I would feel most comfortable telling you the entire story once we have established some trust with
None of this is comforting. It ain't comforting to me every time I think of it.
What I can tell you is that I am your ally, as well as your companion's ally. I have no intention of betraying any of you. I do not work for any sort of organization that is inimical to what we are doing here.
I don't care what organizations or things or what symbols you wear or what color your coat is. It's what you are. And it's what I am.
I suppose I'm a handsome devil, some might call me. Gideon.
Little kid eye roll.
I think you said it. I think you said it yourself. You and I ain't right, and it's up to us to figure out what we're going to do with that lot in life. Isn't that right?
I ain't right because people didn't make me right. Did
That's
you?
something else.
So who made you what you are?
Yeah.
I didn't ask for this.
He swallows.
And what I want to know is, did you ask for it?
He swallows. In answer to your first question, friends of the family. In answer to your second question, after a while, yes, I did.
I ain't got no friends. I ain't got no family.
But you were involved with those men who came through and burned the tavern.
I had nothing to do with them.
I know.
I left.
I wasn't saying you were to be implicated, it's just that you know about them. Now listen, Gideon, I'm going to be staging my own personal crusade to attend their tabernacle at some point.
You don't want to go there.
But I do.
You don't want to go there.
How else am I
And,
going to
I don't want Mr. Blackburn. I don't want Mr. Blackburn going there, and I don't want Doc going there, and I certainly don't want Miss Temperance going there.
Well, then I will.
You can go where you like.
I want to stop them.
There ain't no stopping.
If you keep running, Gideon, they're gonna keep gaining more ground. And if no one else has the courage to step up, then I will. But for now, know that I'm on your side and that I forgive you not trusting me. And for the time
Mr.
being,
Williams.
and I make this pledge to trust you from here on out.
Mr. Williams,
Until things... Yes.
do you know what the difference is between a devil and an angel?
Yes, I do.
Absolutely nothing.
You are a very intelligent boy, Gideon. Careful that that mind of yours doesn't get in your way. Now, let's engage in some commerce.
I don't know when the shopkeeper opens. I just need to get some... I can't go out like this.
And just to make it look like I was just having like a fun talking to, I'll do a quick grab on the shoulder, like a shake. This is just for appearances, boy. Looks very strange to have an adult talking to a little one like you for this extended period of time about unusual subjects. All right, and I like mess his hair. You'll be good now.